Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome on today's episode of Coaching in Focus. I'm your host, Joseph Grech, and on today's episode, I'm delighted to be joined by Helen. A little bit about Helen. So, Helen Wheeler, who is soon starting to use her married name of Robinson. Congratulations, Helen,
Thank
as well.
you.
So, Helen, you're a personal and professional development coach. You're based in the northwest of England, and you've also completed the diploma in integrative coaching and obtained your ACC. So, double congratulations there
Thank
as
you.
well. And we are celebrating because last August, Helen founded her coaching business, your coaching business, Destinations Coaching. And Destinations Coaching is really driven by your passion for empowering people. As a coach, you bring in a lot of expertise and wealth of knowledge in relation to supporting people focus authentically on their lives as well. This belief that growth and achievement as human beings really happens when we align those values and aspirations to what we want to do in the different destinations that our lives might take us as well. And we're reflecting back. We're celebrating with you. We also are reflecting back on your first year in your coaching business. So, welcome, Helen. How are you feeling?
Thank you very much for having me, Joseph. I'm feeling excited.
Great. Me
Yeah,
too.
coming up to a year, and it's flown by. But yeah, all
Mm.
good.
Well, thank you for spending a bit of time to share your experience from being, from your first year of, your coaching business. So maybe let's start from there. What was your motivation for starting the business?
Good question. And I've asked myself that quite a few times over the year. I guess there were three main reasons that come to mind. I've always had a genuine passion for helping people reach their full potential, and coaching gives me that platform, that the enthusiasm I've got, that the knowledge I've got, and I can put that into practice to really help people reach their goals and with their transformations. So
Mm.
that kind of was the first motivation. Secondly, I've got a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. The idea of being able to set my own schedule, shape my own business from the ground up, was something that I've played with for many years. And what
Mm.
was that going to look like? So having my own business kind of really ticked that box, and that was a true motivator. And then thirdly, I'd worked in the public sector and the private sector for over 20 years in management roles, in director roles. And the bit that I really loved about the roles was helping develop people. But I wanted to, I guess, engage in work that had more deeper meaning, was more
Mm.
purposeful to me, than the roles I'd had.
Yeah.
And working with people on a one-to-one basis or in a group basis really allows me to do that through the coaching. So that, I
I
guess,
mean,
that they were the three reasons.
it sounds fun. I know I can see your energy as well as you telling me that, the excitement. I could feel it as well. It's one of the reasons why I started a business, that kind of control in a way, in a nice way, over your branding, the creative decisions that you get to make, the type of people you want to work with. It's really nice. It's a good motivator, right? Um, what were perhaps thinking about some of the challenges? I mean, starting up a business um, is a complex thing. So, what were some of the challenges that you initially faced?
The main first challenge was getting clients, attracting
Mm,
clients, finding clients. That had to be the first challenge. That I have to admit, I was quite naive about how difficult that was going to be.
mm,
I felt I had a big network, and therefore that I was going to get the clients from that existing pool.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so what did I do? So I guess the way I kind of looked at that challenge was to do some use social media platforms,
Mm,
build the website, so have a real online presence, doing regular posts, videos that were a little bit out of my comfort zone at the start, um, and then offering some complimentary, some free or heavily discounted coaching sessions or group workshops within corporate environments to really showcase what I did, so that prospective clients could really see firsthand what I did. I think to many people, coaching is still a little bit of an unknown, and so to spend some time with me directly, seeing what coaching was, but also seeing my style, because every coach is different, that definitely helped to get some of those prospective clients. But also when I was offering the free sessions, I also asked those clients to give me testimonials, to give me feedback, trust pilots, things like that. So then I was really starting to build that brand awareness through the feedback I was getting.
Yeah. It's a tricky one right at the beginning. It's about wanting to really develop the business, find clients. At the same time, you are exploring your niche, what type of coach you mentioned, your style, you're building all of that. But I really like that. I love the idea of kind of coaching sells coaching in a way. Once people get to understand what it is and how it works and how supportive it can be of somebody, then that's when they get the buy-in.
I think, I mean, another challenge was moments of self-doubt, uncertainty. At the start, it was so exciting. And, as you said before, choosing your brand name, choosing your logo, all these exciting things. But then, perhaps you don't get enough sales. You don't get any sales even, or you spend ages doing some posters and flyers and get nothing in return. And, another challenge was actually those moments when I thought, gosh, am I doing the right thing? And I think having the right support network around you, being that, family and friends, or reaching out to other coaches or other professionals, that really, really helped. And I think what struck me is that coming from the corporate sector, it was a very competitive market where you didn't necessarily share best practice. You didn't give away your trade secrets, but actually in the coaching industry, there's plenty of work to go around. There's a huge market out there. So it is okay to kind of share the highs and lows with other coaches and kind of reach out for help, reach out for support, because by and large, the industry want to help each other and encourage each other rather than kind of win business from each other. So that was a totally different experience to sort of other areas of my life and sort of the professions I'd been in previously. But it did help when I was feeling like, is this the right decision?
Yeah. So having a network of great people to have around you, supportive people, is important. And you're right, this idea, like coaches tend to be, like most of us, are kind of quite abundant in the way that we give back to other people, similar to what you're doing now. You're sharing back some of your reflections over the last year, supporting other coaches as well. How did you then? So one of the challenges was about finding clients, a little bit of self-doubt, that we all have, right? I also, 10 years, it's our 10-year anniversary. I still have moments of self-doubt after 10 years. And I think, where's the business going? And it's 10 years along the line. So I think part of it, in a way for me, that self-doubt stays, but it's a good thing, because if you become too cocky about it, then you become quite complacent as well. You don't innovate, you don't change.
Definitely, yeah.
So a little bit of self-doubt, I think, is important. It's humbling, right?
Yes.
For me. So I was going to ask then, in terms of credibility, how did you start building that credibility then with businesses, with individuals? Tell us a bit more about the work that you do as well.
As you very well know, Joseph, it's an unregulated industry. Anybody can tag the word coach onto whatever product or service that they offer. For me, getting an established training and accreditation was really important. So, the ICF is seen internationally to be the gold standard of coaching. So I wanted something that, was not just aligned with their values, but gave me those accreditations. So, did my research online, and for me, become the diploma was kind of the right qualification for me. So yeah, I mean, credibility. You asked about training, getting the right training and certification was important, and it also makes you then kind of stand out a little bit if
Yeah.
people are going to do their research about which coach to choose. Then people are telling me that actually they want to know that somebody has had the training, has got the qualifications.
Yeah.
And I guess also getting references and testimonials, getting feedback, getting case studies, and sharing those. That's another way of building that credibility, because people want to hear it not just from me. They want to hear real life experiences. What worked for other people? What didn't work?
And having the courage to share it. I think sometimes I feel like I don't want to be seen as not necessarily boasting, but just blowing your own trumpet. Is that the saying?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes. Yeah,
So
we don't kind of naturally go, yay, look, I'm really good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly,
but
exactly.
it gets I found it got easier,
Mm,
yes, sharing those first couple of testimonials, or just taking perhaps one sentence or two sentences, from an email that
yeah.
somebody said. Obviously getting their permission first. Is it okay if I share this? And by large, people were like, yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
But then once I did start to share the case studies or the testimonials, I was getting really good feedback about that, or really, really positive comments. So that helped, me book, look, put my teeth back in, helped me be more confident in sharing them going forward.
Yeah, it's like reinforcing, right? It's like a reinforcing behavior. And I'm also guessing through your strategy of showing people what coaching is, it also builds your credibility because people see you doing your work, what you're actually offering to those individuals and the organization. How about, sorry,
No, go ahead.
how about some of the practical things like managing time, kind of finances? There's the kind of aspect of building a business through finding clients, but also there's the admin aspect. How did that work out for you?
That was the bit that I probably didn't plan for taking as much time as it did. So
Mm,
I kind of look at it now as working on the business and working in the business.
mm-hmm,
So working in the business is doing the coaching. It's working with the clients. But actually that only happens once I've worked on the business, when I've done the marketing, when I've done the sales, when I've done the finance, the budgeting, etc. Um, the way I mean, and I've learned as I went along, but the way I kind of do it now, which works best for me, is to have blocks of time for doing one or the other. So
mm,
I know that on these days, on these times, I can work in the business and I can have clients book slots in those times. But actually, these times I'm going to be working on the business, and there are
right.
always elements of working on the business that people don't love. So for me, I hate Excel spreadsheets.
Oh,
They hate me as much as I hate them,
I'm
but
with you.
actually, it's the right thing for me to do my finances, to do my budgeting, to do my forecasts, etc. Now, if I don't block out the time, I'll always find an excuse to do something different.
Yeah,
So yeah, blocking out the time,
yeah.
also prioritizing the tasks in as much as actually what's the impact of me doing this to the success of the business. And that,
Mm,
and that can change. 1 month it might be actually I really need to get some more money and I need to really look at my sales and how I'm going to market it this month. Another time, and actually this was last month. Actually, it was a case of I need to now budget for do a full budget for next year. What am I going to look at next year?
yeah,
Prioritizing and blocking out those bits of time
yeah, yeah,
really helped.
yeah. You know what I do as well, which has been really helpful? I have a a buddy, like another business owner, and we tend to meet up for an hour once a week. And in the hour, we do the thing that we don't want to do. So there's an accountability measure. So things
Yes.
like, yeah, that spreadsheet work that I don't usually like doing, I leave it for the hour because then there's somebody else you're doing it with. So that kind of helps as well,
Yes.
because it feels like it's a shared thing, this idea about spreadsheets and admin. But it is important. Like it is, I think it is key. Like we can't develop our businesses unless we've got a strong foundation of, these administrative tasks. Finding ways to embed processes. I think once somebody's established what those tasks are, it's important to think about how can some of these be automated as
Yes.
well, to free up a bit more time to be working, actually doing the coaching as well. Can I check about something you just said now around the business plan? Is that how you tend to work? Are you quite structured in terms of your business plan? Do you let things emerge? How do you have a strategy?
I have a strategy. Whether I keep to it isn't always. So yes, I absolutely had a business plan.
Mm,
Before I went live, um, I I find with a business plan, there are certain things that you then are forced to think about.
mm,
So part of it would be setting your prices. Um, but because I was doing the business plan before I was live in the business, if you like, I had the time to then kind of think, right, in terms of setting my prices, let's look at what else is out there in my local market, who's offering similar services, what are they charging. So I could start to set some products, set some prices without the emotional feeling of, oh, I've got to actually now sell this to somebody, I've got to say it, how am I going to feel about pitching it at that price, etc. So doing it as a paper-based exercise without time pressures, without the emotion, really helped me to have a strong foundation.
mm.
Um, it also is great to then to have something to look back to
Yeah,
and kind of say,
I can
"Wow,
imagine.
I forgot I was going to do this," or "Well, actually, it didn't go down that route, but that's okay."
Mm,
So comparing to what actually happens 3 months, 6 months down the line to what I set out to do, it is useful, and then I can either kind of rein myself back in and say, no, that is actually where I'm wanting to focus, or actually no, I'm okay the fact that it's deviated from whatever that plan was.
mm. I love the idea of doing it, as a paper-based activity, but with a bit of distance. It seems that you're involved, but you're
Mm.
also not as kind of engulfed in it that you can't see. You can actually take a step back, and I really like that idea. And that's actually a good tip for people who are thinking about starting new businesses, is to think early on around the plan before you're ready to launch.
Mm. And I
Mm,
mean, it can be quite a scary thing saying to somebody, have you got a
mm,
business plan? But there are so many free templates out there now, that it can take you through which areas that you would need to do, and the questions in the business plans and the guides that are out there would really help somebody, go through it step by step. So it's not as scary
not as
as
daunting as it
perhaps it sounds.
sounds.
No, no.
Yeah. And talking about that, are there any other tools or platforms that have helped you or are helping you in your business?
Mm. Um, so I use Zoom quite a lot. That's
Mm.
kind of my preferred platform. Other brands are available. I don't know if don't know if we're allowed to brand name, but
Zoom or other webinar type.
yeah. So I use Zoom quite a lot. I think
Mm,
when I started out, I expected most of the one-to-one coaching I did to be on a face-to-face basis, but actually using Zoom in the very early stages with Become, when we were doing some practice coaching, and
mm,
realizing that actually I could get just the same results as I could sat in a room with somebody as I could over a video, gave me the confidence to say, no, I'm going to offer these services wider. And what that then meant was I had a much greater market share to be able to offer the services to. I've had clients in Canada, 2 clients in Canada, which, you know, there's no way I'd have been able to do that if it was only face to face. So yeah, Zoom's been an important platform. I've also registered with Bark and with the Life Coach Directory, and both of those platforms, you know, from the research I did beforehand, there were very, very mixed messages. For some people it was successful, and some people it wasn't. But quite often these places have starter offers, either the free or, you know, the free first month, reduced rates for the first month. So I'd say definitely try the platforms that are out there. You know, whether they're right for you. With Bark, I don't know if that's one you're familiar with, but what I find with that one is pick up the phone and contact people, you know, as soon as they're registering their interest in some coaching, because it's so easy to send a standard email. But if somebody phones you up when you're in the moment, you've just said, actually, I'm interested in a coach. So you're already as a client thinking about what you need, and somebody phones you up and starts talking about what you want as opposed to what they offer, then that has actually worked for me. So that's been really successful.
Yeah. And they can hear you, connect with you. There's more of a human element to it than an email response. Great. Do you how did you come up with the pricing structure as well? And the products, were they in the business plan?
They were in the business plan. So, I mean, there's two very different answers on that, I guess, there, with prices and with products. So with prices, as I said earlier, you know, when I was doing the business plan, I looked around at other coaches, what they were charging, and, you know, what their, you know, were they actually qualified as well? Because I felt, you know, if I have a diploma, if I have, you know, an ICF accreditation, then actually I can charge a little bit more than perhaps somebody who didn't. So I set my prices and was quite clear about my prices before I started talking to real life clients about them. And then I had this panic moment that I was too expensive, and it all kind of went out of everything I'd set just went out of the window. And I went through luckily only a short time, I went through a dip where I almost on the phone or on the screen charge whatever I thought I could get away with. And I didn't actually have that much success with people taking up those offers. But then I think in fact it was possibly on a mentoring session with Richard from Become. We were talking about it, and actually I realised that this was just about my confidence, and I needed to be confident in just saying the same prices. So I went back to the drawing board, was happy with the original prices I set, and I decided to publish them on my website, so that once they were there, then in black and white, I wasn't going to be tempted to kind of just come out with some figure that felt right on the day. And then the more I started to have this set pricing, actually the easier it became. So yeah, that was my journey with pricing.
Yeah. Because I guess people... Oh,
no,
go ahead. Products.
Let's stick with pricing.
I was going to say, I guess people know what the price is, so there isn't an element of selling. You're going to be contacted by individuals who are already aware of your pricing structure in that case. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead with talking about products as well.
Yeah, the journey with products has been quite different. So exactly the same as I was saying with pricing. To start off with, I kind of did the research, decided what products I wanted to offer, and had my heart absolutely set on executive coaching. That was because I'd come from a corporate world, and it was the executive coaching side that I really wanted to push. And the business plan was all based on executive coaching. one-to-one coaching and group coaching. But then what I started to realize is that when you're doing what you class as executive coaching, actually quite often what comes out is, well, probably more akin to life coaching. People
Hmm.
panicking about they're having to cook a roast turkey dinner for the family, and they've never done a roast dinner before. It can be absolutely
Yeah.
anything that comes to mind that's really a blocker for them moving forward, or with their life. I also did some life coaching, not sort of more to get the hours in those very early days actually, and found that I really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
I found it really, really satisfying, and I know it should be about the client. It's not all about me.
There's a little bit about you as well, isn't it? It has to be.
There does have to be to keep you going. But
Yeah.
we talked about motivation earlier, and actually, it is motivating when you see people get those results, and that kind of transformation that people go through over
Yeah.
the coaching journey makes you feel that actually it's really, really worthwhile what you're doing. And yes, there
Mhm.
is we've got to pay bills. We're charging people for this. It is a business, but actually um, it's something that I get real fulfillment out of.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
And I'm just thinking that what you mentioned around the executive coaching. That's why I feel, sometimes people come onto the diploma saying, I really want to focus on career coaching or this. And I kind of say, see what happens because things will change. Reflecting on my own
So true.
career. Yeah, I started doing executive coaching and then I moved into career coaching. And then I think I called myself personal development coach. And because your interests get piqued in different
Mm.
areas,
Mm.
and ultimately what you're doing is more or less the same. You're coaching, you're working with somebody. Mm,
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there are so many, and again, maybe this is partly because it's unregulated, but there are so many ways people describe themselves as a coach, um, and and actually, it can be exactly the same style or content almost, irrespective of the type of coach. Whether it's a life coach, executive coach,
yeah.
personal development coach, leadership coach. Um, it's bespoke to that person, and what that client is wanting to achieve or wanting to overcome at that
Mm.
that point in their lives, um, is achieved through the coaching, not necessarily by the title that the coach has got.
You've said it so well. It resonates so much with me when you say that. Coaching is coaching. It's not the title that you're giving yourself, but what actually happens in that relationship. Helen,
Just talking
yeah.
now reminds me the amount of time and stress I went through deciding how was I going to describe myself as a coach, and looking around, and some people were founder, some people were MDs of their coaching organisation, but actually it really doesn't matter.
No,
It
no, it
really
really
doesn't
doesn't.
matter.
It really doesn't. Really doesn't. So that could be a piece of advice for new business owners who are thinking about embarking on a coaching business. Don't worry so much about your niche. It will change and develop. Focus on your coaching. Is there anything else? Is there any other advice as we're reaching the end of our podcast episode that would be helpful?
I mean, we've covered so much today.
Mm,
I mean, some of the things that I think are really important, and I think you said it, is be open to change. As I said, I had my heart set on being an executive coach, and actually, I do as much life coaching as I do executive coaching now. So be open to change. Um, get and use those testimonials and references, case studies.
hmm.
But I guess the one real thing is actually get the right training and get the right accreditation. Do the research, what's right for what you feel is right for you. Because in the long run, if you do have those qualifications, you do have those training behind you, that's the first thing that people are going to see about you. It's not going to be the coaching itself. They're going to have to
Yeah,
choose a coach, and if you've got that credibility, then I think that's really, really key.
yeah, yeah. And I know we're biased as a training provider, but it is important to choose, you know, content in that program that resonates with you, that you feel that you can learn from, that will help you achieve the accreditation. That it's fully accredited. It's not a CPD program. Yeah, do your research in terms of the different coaching programs that are out there. Okay, great, Helen. Well, thank you. Thank you for spending a bit of time talking about this. I really appreciate it. I know a lot of our viewers will get a lot from this
Thank
because
you for
it is.
having me. It's been a
Oh,
pleasure.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And I wish you even many more years of success as well in your business.